Hi, sweetie. Can you hear me okay? I think you're on mute.
Yes, I see you're on YouTube already.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You're in the sala?
No.
Oh, you're using that virtual background.
Yeah.
Clever.
But thank you for thinking that. That was my hope, that it would kind of look like that. That's why I went there. All right, I'm going to let in these folks. Admit all. And take off enable waiting room. Welcome, everybody. I see some are still coming. Maybe their photo's not, but so welcome to our virtual Saladana Sunday meditation. I want to see more faces. There's only like 2 faces besides Anna Monica and I connecting. There we go. Oh, Josie, why aren't you on a plane?
Long story. I should be on a plane tomorrow.
Okay. Well, welcome. Oh, whew. I mean, one day is not so bad.
Hopefully it's just one more day.
Who decided to delay you one day?
It's a long story. But I should be on my flight tomorrow. Hopefully. After the 3rd delay is the charm, right?
I know several 3rd things are the charm, but delays, I'm not so sure. Maybe, hopefully for you. How are everybody else? Okay, 2 thumbs up. That sounds good. 1 thumbs up seems also good. Okay. So yeah, the Saladana is coming along, and I want to set aside a few minutes. I know a couple of you, it won't matter so much because it's not where you are, but I do want to kind of talk about, what we might do there with our maximum of 10 people type of thing, and whether people even want to go inside or whatever. But I'll save that to the last. Yeah, I always like to listen to Dharma talks to get some inspiration that I can share with you. And this time I think I listened to too many, and now I'm confused. It's like, what do I talk about? So maybe we'll just meditate and then I'll see what arises. Yeah, so where is my, my timepiece? 1 second, I seem to have misplaced my timepiece. I found it. So we'll do a 30-minute samatha style with some vipassana thrown in, meditation. And if there's no questions or anything, we'll just launch right in. So find a comfortable posture, one that also has a sense of, you might say, dignity or nobility, with your back hopefully straight. You can maybe tilt your head just a little bit to open up the vertebrae in the back. Also seems to portray a sense of humility as well. Normally we close our eyes. You might take a couple deep breaths to really feel the body, something that will even move maybe your chest so you really know your breath. And then bringing your attention to the belly. Feeling the movement of the belly. Feeling the breath. Relaxing the belly. Relaxing the breath. And then as you feel comfortable, bringing your awareness into the whole body and fusing the body with attention, with awareness, with mindfulness. Noticing whatever sensations might be present. Maybe at the points of contact, where your body touches a chair or a cushion, a couch, the floor. Maybe noticing any temperature, heat, coolness. Seeing if you can really fill the whole body with a sense of awareness, a sense of attention, right into the fingers, the toes, the head, even reaching your ears, your nose. And being aware of your body in this posture, this noble, dignified posture. And remembering you can use the posture, the body as an anchor at any time. So if your mind wanders or when it wanders, when you get distracted, you could use the body to come back to and feel the body and bring your mind back into the present moment. Or we could use the breath. So let's find the breath now. Start back at the belly where we were, noticing the breath at the belly, noticing it at the chest, if there's any movement there. And then coming up and noticing at the nostrils. And I encourage you to find a place where the breath is easy to follow, pleasant to follow. And let that be your home base. Coming back to that place, just feeling the breath. And of course, if the breath is difficult or challenging today, you can use the posture, or you can use hearing sounds as an anchor, a receptive listening. And as we've talked about, we really want to relax into this experience. Unless you're very sleepy, in which case you might want to do something to generate energy. But if you're not sleepy and you have sufficient energy, it's very important to relax the mind as well as the body. So if there's any tension in the body, any contraction, just try to let that go. Relax into your anchor, your home base. And we just keep coming back again and again, gently, firmly, but without judgment. Try not to judge, try not to criticize. We'll just practice like this for a while. Calming the mind as well as the body, or calming the body as well as the mind. you have a practice of using labels, or if you find that helpful, we can simply label our experience. One word labels, one word names. Breathing in, breathing out, or inhaling, exhaling, thinking, returning, or maybe if you're in the body, feeling, sensing. Very helpful tool to keep us present in the present moment. When thoughts arise, we try not to push them away as much as just let them go. Let them go on their way, much like clouds passing through the sky. Now, if your mind is a little more stable, or even if it's not, we can open up to other phenomena and allow whatever is most obvious to you to be your anchor, to be the object of your attention. So if there's a sensation in the body, for instance, maybe your knee hurts, maybe there's a little pain, or maybe a body part is sleeping, just move the attention to that and just rest it there, knowing the sensation, experiencing the sensation. And then when something else arises that's more obvious, more interesting, calling more loudly, then we just move our attention to that. And it can include thought. So if your mind is thinking, then just pay attention to that. Maybe notice how long it lasts. And if there's nothing more interesting than the breath or the posture or the sounds, you can just stay with your anchor until something arises. And all the while we notice, we're aware of how things change, how things come and go. Nothing is static. as we head into the last couple moments of our formal practice, I invite you to bring your awareness back to your body. Maybe coming back to the belly where we started, or wherever in the body is comfortable. Just reconnecting with it, reestablishing that embodied awareness. Maybe noticing if the body feels a little different, or if the awareness is aware of different things. And then imagining your awareness near your heart center, that point in the chest. And just taking a moment to reflect, to remember, to thank yourself really for doing this practice, for taking the time out of your day to kindly listen to yourself, as the Zen teachers would say. And then remembering or recalling that there are others on this call who are also practicing. Together, we are practicing not only for ourselves, but for each other as well. And then doing a little kind of Vajrayana practice of imagining we can extend our awareness beyond our physical form, our rupa, to include everybody on this call. Maybe everybody on this planet as we move through these very interesting, challenging times together. And when you hear the sound of the bell, just as always, just noticing what arises, any thoughts, any bodily sensations, just being aware. Thank you all very much. Even though it may look like I'm at Saladana, I'm not. And in fact, I'm in my bedroom. For the first time, I figured since I don't need to have a backdrop, because I'm going to use this virtual backdrop, I will go in the bedroom where I think it's quieter, because in the front of the house there's a lot of street noise. But then I realized how very talkative my neighbor is. So I don't know if you guys could hear her, but throughout the almost entire meditation, she was chatting. Could you hear somebody chatting or? Oh, good. Okay. It is beyond the wall, but I could hear it. And it was funny how I meditate here mostly in my bedroom, and every once in a while, I might notice people talking, but then when I was considering you guys and the effect it might be having on your practice, it was interesting how much louder it seemed, how much more it seemed, even to the point where I was thinking I was going to take it and move to the hallway, take the computer. But I'm glad you couldn't hear it. So yeah, why don't we first, is there anybody who would like to share something, who may have a question or just want to reflect? Yeah, just take yourself off of mute and you could say something if you want. Or not.
I'll go.
Okay. Okay, Kay.
Say a different name. It's Carmen or Keno. It doesn't matter. You can call me anyway. Either way. So just share that sometimes I feel strong emotions in the form of heat in the body, and that's very interesting. I do yoga and kind of comes with the movement, but to me it's very interesting to see also how there's some level of heat that's created just from sitting, sitting. So to me that's very interesting, and I don't know if I have any question or if I can elaborate any further, but I just wanted to share it because it's intriguing to me.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, and it sounds like your relationship with it, your attitude with it sounds very wholesome, that it's interesting and like that, rather than I wish it would go away or something like that. Whereabouts in the body do you feel the heat?
So like the solar plexus, I think it's a massive part. And also I feel a lot of like I feel like the upper back and middle back kind of numb. It's awakening, but it is a lot of, it's sluggish, it's like sticky. It's very strange.
And this is happening at the same time as you have the heat in the solar plexus, then you also have the numb in the back.
Yeah, it's as if I was being pierced. I don't know, it's very strange. Very strange. Intense.
You don't seem scared by it or bothered.
No, not really.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, what I believe more and more is the only thing that really holds us back from the healing, let's just call it that for now, the healing potential of yoga and of mindfulness, of meditation, is our ego, right? Our little ego gets involved and it gets scared, or it doesn't comport. Is that a word? Comport? It doesn't align with our self-view. I'm somebody who shouldn't have these feelings or what, it's always some little problem that we have with the ego, or the ego has a problem with whatever's happening. If we can just push that little guy, girl aside, oh, the potential is just so amazing. And your description of something piercing you, and then not being afraid of that, I think that's just awesome. And and these things change, maybe after some days or weeks or months or whatever, this will go away, right? It'll pass and something new will arise. one of these talks and videos and stuff that I listened to this week, he mentioned, this teacher mentioned that on average, we are only aware of like 1% of what is going on in the mind. Just such a teeny little bit. But the potential is there to be aware of so much more if we allow it. This guy is an expert also in lucid dreaming, in sleep yoga, and these other kind of esoteric sort of practices that we don't normally do at Saladana. But it was very compelling because he was basically saying, we could be practicing 24 hours a day, even when we're sleeping. I'm like, God, that sounds kind of cool, And with this coronavirus thing, oh my gosh, it's like, why not? It's like there just seems to be so much more time to meditate, at least in my life. And I'm working too, but maybe not having to commute, or I don't know. So I'm like, sure, I'm gonna try to meditate when I'm sleeping as well. But anyways, thank you for sharing. That was beautiful, and beautiful awareness. Yeah, in these are difficult times, right? These are challenging times, and it would be, I think, more unusual if we didn't notice that something was kind of off, right? Because something is kind of off. Life is not exactly as we're used to it, as we're accustomed to it. And the nervous system is going to pick this up. And, then we're going to feel a little bit off. And with our practice, we can feel that feeling of being off. We could just feel it and reground ourselves, using the body, reground ourselves back into the present moment, back connected to this earth, And, one of the Dharma talks I listened to was by a nun in the Thai forest tradition. And in the United States and California, there are a couple of viharis, nunneries. They use monasteries, but her name was Aya Sata Chitta. I don't know if Anna Monica knows her, but she's actually from Germany, but she's living in California in the foothills in Placerville at this monastery, Aloka Vihara. Anna Monica, have you heard of it? Aloka Vihara Forest Monastery. Anyway, had a wonderful.
No.
Okay. I think I had, but anyways, so she had a nice talk on Dharma Seeds, or dharmaseed.org. And the name of her talk was Being with Discomfort is a love competency. That is so interesting. Competency on the path. So basically it's a practice. It isn't like we are trying to push away all the discomfort, the dukkha, right? The Pali word for discomfort, dukkha. It's not like we're pushing it away. Sino que, I know in Spanish you're supposed to say sino que. It's very different than in English. I'm practicing that because I always forget. Sino que, it's about our relationship with the dukkha, right? Our relationship with the discomfort, our relationship with the grief. I mean, by gosh, I bet every one of us have lost something over these last 5 months that was dear to us, right? Whether it was a job, whether it was freedom, whether it was actual, money, finances. I mean, everybody's, and then of course there's people who have lost other people, right? I got a text from one of my friends in New Jersey. He used the word several. It's like, oh my God. New Jersey was the second state behind New York that really got whacked, like Spain did, where each one of those states had like 30,000 deaths, or I think New York like 30,000, New Jersey a few less. But he said, yeah, several people died. It's like, oh my gosh, right? So there's a lot of loss right now. And the natural response, is to grieve, is to feel sad. And our practice teaches us to be with our grief, to be with our discomfort, to be with our losses. And anyways, this talk by this nun, Aya Santa Chita, I highly recommend it. It's on dharmaseed.org. It's about the sixth one down right now if you were to go to it. I think it was on the 18th of August she did it. And a lot of really helpful tools. And then the thing that I really took away from it was the reminder that as practitioners, we have the Eightfold Path. We have the Noble Eightfold Path that, was rediscovered, you might say, by the Buddha, by this person 2,600 years ago. And it is a set of practices as well as guidance as to how we can live, a wholesome, stable, hopefully happy life. Right? So I thought I would just, because when we were actually at Saladana, in the space, I remember we were using the not the chalkboard, but I forget what it's called when you write on things. Anyways, we were going over the lists, right? We were going over the 4 foundations of mindfulness. We were going over the Noble Eightfold Path, and I really felt this connection, to this Buddhist practice. But then for some reason, being on Zoom and stuff, I think initially too, we were doing them on the screen. Yeah, actually, I remember now in Palm Springs, I was bringing them up on the screen. But the last couple of months, I kind of drifted away from doing that. And it was so good to be reminded, because like, at least in my case, my best thinking only gets me in trouble, really. I mean, my ego thinks that I'm a smart person, but my ego is wrong. I'm really not that smart. And it is much better if I look to people, teachers, teachings, and I follow them. This always works better than if I try to reinvent the wheel, right? If I try to make it up myself. And so I thought I just, wanted to bring that up again in case, you guys had also kind of drifted a little bit off the path or forgotten some of our tools, in the guidance, in the basket. I love this kind of, sort of visual of it's a basket that holds us, right? It's a basket of tools, of ways of seeing, of practices that hold us, and especially in difficult times, like right now, and we'll just go over them, real quickly, just as a reminder. Starting with probably the one that is the most important one really is this right view or this right understanding. This is so important. And, in the Buddhist context, especially in the Theravada tradition, the Pali tradition, they talk about the law of karma as one of the things that we want to see clearly. And we want to see the three characteristics, that everything is impermanent, that everything is unsatisfactory, and that everything is impersonal, that there's no real self. But we could expand that, the idea of right vision to include more things and in a modern context, right? And to use like the measure of whether this is wholesome or not, whether this is helpful or not, right? Whether this is skillful or not, using the 5 precepts, for instance. And like for me, like wearing a mask has really not been a problem for me. I am willing to wear a mask and I wear it. Even today, I rode a long bike ride, even on my bike, mostly I have it on, and for me, it's a small thing. I do know there are some people that just, there's some where it really irritates them, and I can understand that. But there's others where it's kind of the ego thing, right? It's like kind of the macho thing. I'm not going to wear a mask. That's for girls, or Chinese or something, And so it's seeing these things clearly, right? It's having the right perspective, the right view about something as simple maybe as wearing a mask. That probably it is helpful for our health and for the health of others, as well as it transmits this kind of message that I care about you. When I wear a mask, I'm telling you I care about you. I don't want to get you sick. And I think people appreciate that, right? And from, which could easily, we could just go then to the next one, which is right intention, right? This volition. It's like, what do we want, right? What do we want? And going out into the world with this hopefully wholesome intention of non-harming, wearing a mask is a perfect example of that. Not wanting to get anybody sick or get ourselves sick or catch it. Maybe for some of us, we get the bug and then we don't know it because we don't, for whatever reason, our biology doesn't seem to respond as others do. And then we give it to somebody, though, who's vulnerable, and oof, we could cause a lot of harm. So that's so important, and in Buddhism, the non-killing, the non-taking of life, this is one of the precepts, and this is very important. But the Buddha did say that if you didn't mean to do it, then you're kind of absolved, let's say, right? From killing. And I suppose, if we give somebody this COVID-19 and we didn't mean to, and they die or whatever, and they get sick, hopefully we wouldn't feel shame about it. But if we're careless, if we're not wearing our mask, if we're not washing our hands, if we're not maintaining distance, that's a different story. This is part of our responsibility as practitioners, is to not harm and to be aware of the impact that we can have on others by our actions, right? And so then the next little grouping in the Eightfold Path is about our actions. And the first one is about our speech, right? This is probably the hardest one for me anyways. I love to swear and I love to, go on tirades and stuff like this. And it's not right speech. And over the years, I've gotten better at it, I must admit. And I could just feel it in the body. Gosh, this feels so much better to be nice than it is to be mean. And, I'll admit I've gained some material things by being mean, but it hasn't been worth it. I think it'd be, much better to be nice and have nothing than be mean and have a bunch of shit. You know what I mean? So right speech. And, one thing that I love and I practice I try to, and I still love is, and I know Nacho's also gotten into this a little bit too, is this nonviolent communication um, um, teachings by Marshall Rosenberg and classes, and they're going to even have another virtual international conference in October, and it's almost like if you just adopt nonviolent communication, you fall within the Buddha's expectation around right speech. They're very synonymous. I mean, there's some rules, not rules, but like requirements that it be timely and so forth in Buddhism. But I very much like the nonviolent communication version of right speech. And then right action, how we are in the world. Are we harming? Are we contributing to the harm of beings? This is one area where over time, I converted to not eat animals, not eat beings that have parents or eyeballs or, like that. And it feels good, and, maybe, I don't know if my physical health is any different as a result. I mean, I'm older now. I feel good though. And then I feel good in my heart. I really feel like I'm doing the right thing. And there again are the precepts where we don't use our sexuality in a way that might harm somebody, right? So we don't cheat and or even like suggest that we might be available so that we can get something and then we don't. I mean, there's a lot of ways that we could use our sexuality in a way that can cause harm. So we don't want to do that. And see, there was one other I think that I wanted to mention, but before I get there, I will move on to the next one because that one's more on the tip of my tongue, and that's the right livelihood. This one gets a little bit specific, but it's one that still applies in today's world. Like personally, if you work for Facebook, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't. No, that's I have a pet peeve with Facebook. So right livelihood, it is not right livelihood if you're like selling weapons, if you're selling drugs, if you're selling alcohol. So even a bartender job kind of, from a Buddhist perspective, may not be right livelihood because you're selling alcohol that can cloud the mind. And it's okay in Buddhism, it's okay to make a ton of money. There's nothing that says you have to be poor to be a good Buddhist. No, you can make a lot of money, but it's how did you do it? Did anybody get harmed while you did it? That's why I bring up Facebook, is because I think Facebook causes a lot of harm because of those algorithms and so forth. But are you, can you sleep at night, right? Around how you make your money. And then how do we spend it? And then the last little grouping, the practice grouping of the last three, have to do with our meditation practice, right? And the first one is about our effort to cultivate that is wholesome and to let go of or abandon those things that are unwholesome. And then the seventh one is fundamental for everything, and it's mindfulness, right? Having right mindfulness, being mindful. And this is something we can do all day long. I mean, my little brain just is I have an obsessive brain, I always have. And it's very difficult for me, it seems like, to concentrate on little tasks like doing the dishes or brushing my teeth. My brain will start to obsess when I do those things. But with mindfulness, with sati, which is about remembering, if I'll just remember to try to be present, even if it's just for a moment, I can feel it in the body. It's like, oh God, that feels good to maybe do the dishes for 30 seconds without, obsessing about something. So it can work in all walks of our life, mindfulness. And then the final one, the eighth one of our Noble Eightfold Path, is it's called samadhi, which has various definitions, but you can say right concentration or relaxed concentration. And this is really a practice where some people will even argue that this particular eightfold, this eighth factor, should lead to states of mind that are super calming, right? They call them the jhanas, where we even will really feel that sense of no self, where it's just consciousness being aware of itself, you might say. And, this takes a lot of practice, especially in our distracted world that we live in. It's much harder than, say, it was back in the time of the Buddha, or even if you live in the farmland of Thailand or Burma or wherever, where you don't have much on your mind. Those levels of concentration can come more easily. But practicing in that direction, practicing towards more concentration, is by its very nature helpful. It just is, right? We just get more firmly embedded, embodied into the present moment, into the here and now. The mind calms down, and this is a path of reducing and at some point hopefully eliminating reactivity. That reactive mind, and cultivating equanimity. Cultivating this calm abiding, this non-reactive abiding. And the more we meditate, the more equanimity, generally speaking, the more equanimity we'll have in our life. So that's the eighth one. Let's see what time. Yeah, so I think I'll stop there. Is there anybody who would like to add anything or have any questions about that? Let's see. Oh, flip chart, Damon brought. Yep, that was a flip chart. All right.
Can I just say, I'm glad that you're putting the issue of people not wearing masks in the sense of, or into the context of the Eightfold Path, because I've been struggling with that one lately. I'm finding myself getting worked up at people not wearing masks. It's very at the moment I'm in Dublin, visiting family, and it's very different here. Is in Madrid, where face masks have become a way of life. When I came back here, people aren't wearing them as much, and I found myself getting worked up about, I guess, judging other people for kind of the risk that they're putting on, particularly since I'm visiting elderly parents and everything.
Yeah.
Aware of that risk. So I've kind of been struggling with that, and we had, like you had in Madrid, we've had a non-mask, anti-mask protests here, and I just to put it in the context of right thought and right intention, both for them and for us, I think is I need that as much as they do. So I found that for me today.
Yeah, good luck with that. I know the Irish, they can be kind of, a little headstrong like that.
Yeah, they need a little bit more of the awareness.
Thank you. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Can I share?
Yeah, and Monica, please.
Yeah. I've felt a lot of hypervigilance lately. As people might know, there are wildfires, all around the Northern California. And I thought when I stopped to sit, that I wouldn't be able to find any sort of calm or relief. And though my mind was still busy, my body did settle. And it was was really nice to feel that, because I haven't stopped to sit as all this was happening. And so this experience reminds me that I can do that, and that it can calm the body, even if the mind is still, thinking about to-dos and escape plans and things like that. So that was really nice. And also it was really nice to hear the Eightfold Path again, just kind of to go through them step by step. Nice, familiar, comforting teaching. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and for those of you on the call, poor Anna Monica, she's still in California, so she's dealing with the coronavirus issue there, which is levels worse than most of Europe. And now we've got California has these wildfires, and she's doing a lot for me taking care of my business. So she has a lot on her plate. I feel for you, sweetie, and I'm very thankful for you doing that. But I'd like it to stop, because I know it's too much, at least my end. Thank you. Well, let's shall we do a little metta practice? And then for those of you who'd like to stay on, if you want to share, I'm happy to keep the lines open. Maybe first we'll do a little metta. And kind of like last week, for those of you who are on the call, trying to, not trying, just if there is a sensation that arises as a result of the phrases, really kind of cultivating that and feeling that. And I would say, even if it's sadness, just allowing yourself to really notice and feel it.
And Jim, if there's time for just a quick dedication, I did find something I'd like to share at the end.
Okay, so I will not do it out, and you can do it. So finding our comfortable posture, embodying our awareness, feeling the body, and then maybe bringing the awareness to the area of the chest, the heart, the solar plexus. And bringing to mind some being you really love, you admire, you're a big fan. Might be a public person, could be the Buddha, or maybe it's just a niece or a nephew you have, or a grandparent. Let's send them loving kindness, metta. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. And may you live with ease. And now let's try ourself. I. Hopefully after an easy person, maybe to give ourselves loving kindness will also be easy. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be safe. May I live with ease. And now let's try a difficult person, or maybe in Damien's case, it might be a difficult city. So pick somebody or some group that maybe you have a little resentment or feelings have been hurt, some kind of tension there. Let's see if we can send out some loving kindness, some goodwill. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you live with ease. And finally, all beings in all directions, without exception, may all beings be happy. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings live with ease. Well, thank you. And then Monica will take us out with a dedication of the merit.
Yeah, this is from Krishna Das, who is a devotional devotee of Neem Karoli Baba and a teacher of devotional music. And at the end of his offerings, he says something to the effect of, if we know anything about a path at all, it's only because of the great ones that have gone before us. Out of their love and kindness, they have left some footprints for us to follow. So in the same way that they wish for us, we wish that all beings everywhere, including ourselves, be safe, be happy, have good health, and enough to eat. And may we all live in peace and at ease of heart with whatever comes to us in this life. May all beings be well.
I will hit the bell for that one. Thank you, Anna Monica. That did, yeah. So I didn't actually get to talking about Saladana, but I'll just quickly say that I think I'll probably put out a message through Meetup, maybe even this week, and I know there was Laura, who I think was on the call for a bit. If some people want to come and help clean, it's getting to that place now where we can start to clean it and get it ready to be used. And we need to, like the cushions, the zabutons, they're so dusty. And it really just needs a big dusting, right? The doors aren't in, but we could almost conceivably use it in small groups if there was an interest in that, even without, I mean, the doors are there, but there's no glass. So you just walk right through it. But getting kind of close. So I'll put it out probably via Meetup. Anyways, thank you very much. And if you want to stay and talk a little bit, I'll stay on. If more than like 5 of us are on, then I can make 2 small groups. So we'll see what happens. People make their choices.
I gotta go. Thank you.
Okay, bye, Damon. Good luck with the
Bye.
Irish.
Thanks for
Bye. Be well.
Bye, David.
I have to go to take care. I hope to see you very soon, all of you.
Yes, me too.
Nice to see you, Nacho.
Nice to see you,
Un
Ana Mónica.
abrazo.
Abrazo.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. I'm leaving too. It was nice seeing you all.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good luck tomorrow, Josie.
Thanks. Hopefully it happens tomorrow finally. See you
Take
guys
good
once I'm
care,
back.
Josie.
You
All
guys
right.
too. I'll see you guys once I'm back.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh,
Wanna
no,
stop
everybody
YouTube,
left.
sweetie?
What'd you say, Julieta?
Oh, no, everybody left.
Yeah. That's
Oh, okay.
Well, Jim, if you want to stop YouTube, we can just have a short
oh yeah, I should stop
chat.
you. I always forget to